by Miriam KatawaziSTAFF REPORTERThu. September 21, 2017. Heartbroken residents are clearing away scattered pieces of buildings and trees on the British Virgin Islands, which braved two major hurricanes within 2 weeks, wiping out most homes. Hurricane Maria struck the island Tuesday night, destroying most of what was left after the first storm. It dragged the debris left behind by Hurricane Irma across the island, causing further roadblocks and thrashing of homes. It's like a nuclear bomb had gone off or a forest fire raged, because there is nothing left in terms of wildlife and plants, said Caitlin Woodman, a former Ajax, Ontario resident now teaching math on the islands. Cars are in the water and boats are on the land. Trees have been pulled from their roots and flown into buildings. There are no roofs on probably 85% of the houses. After wreaking havoc on the British Virgin Islands, Maria's deadly path took it through Puerto Rico and lashed the Dominican Republic on Thursday morning. The deadly storm is expected to move into the Bahamas on Friday. International Development Minister Marie-Claude Bibeau said that 6,000 Canadians who were in the path of Hurricane Maria were evacuated before the storm hit. She added that 168 Canadians who chose not to leave have requested federal assistance in the midst of the devastating storm that is ravaging the Caribbean. After wreaking havoc on the British Virgin Islands, Maria's deadly path took it through Puerto Rico and lashed the Dominican Republic on Thursday. The deadly storm is expected to move into the Bahamas on Friday. Caitlin Woodman was one of the Canadians who chose not to leave her island, where she has been living for 3 years. She wanted to help her students and the other residents with the cleanup. She hid inside her concrete-walled home during both Category 5 hurricanes. By some miracle, she said, her home is still intact, even though many others in the area had been severely damaged. The entire time we could hear the debris being lifted off the land, and we could hear all of the palm trees, shrapnel and rubble hitting our block, she said. It felt like you were in a box, and someone was shaking it around like toy. With winds of 255 km/h, the most recent storm left many without a home. Several of Woodman's students are currently living in the school, which is now a makeshift shelter. Woodman said the second hurricane that hit the British Virgin Islands further shook up the islands, leaving the place unrecognizable. The night now, she said, is eerily silent because the frogs and crickets are no longer there. It just looks like a landfill, as if someone has just taken their hand and wiped it completely across the island. It's brown and bare, it just looks dead, she said. It's sad and heartbreaking. It's like a nuclear bomb had gone off or a forest fire raged, because there is nothing left in terms of wildlife and plants, said Caitlin Woodman, a former Ajax, Ontario resident. Caitlin Woodman, before the second storm struck, she said she could sense the fear people were feeling. You could feel it in the grocery store, in the lines and walking through town. People were nervous about this one as well, she said. A lot of people were more nervous about Maria because they realized what a Category 5 could do. Former Quebec resident Guy Paul Dubois was forced to flee his home on the British Virgin Islands, where he lived for 15 years after Hurricane Irma struck. He experienced Hurricane Maria in Puerto Rico, where he was sent after being evacuated. I had no roof, no more home. We were sleeping where it was wet everywhere in Tortola. I had to leave everything but a bag and my 2 dogs behind, he said. I don't want to think about it anymore. After experiencing Irma in Tortola, Dubois said he felt that Puerto Rico was in better shape, despite reports that Maria knocked out electricity to the entire island and triggered landslides and floods. You can still see some green in trees here, he said Thursday after the hurricane. There are still some leaves on the trees, but Tortola was brown like a bomb had exploded. With files from the Canadian press,